Hey, what's going on everyone, this is iReviews back with another video, and today we're talking about iOS 18.5. So as you probably know, we're currently on the beta stages with iOS 18.5 waiting to be released to the public very soon, but we're going to talk about exact dates in a minute here. First of all, let's talk about the last update of iOS 18.5 and why I believe even though this update doesn't bring a ton of new features and changes, it is still one of the best updates that Apple has actually released to iOS 18. Now, first of all, let's talk about the latest beta, which was just released. Now, this is beta 4 of iOS 18.5, and it comes at a smaller size this time, as you can see right here on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Updating from beta 3 to beta 4, you will have an update at around 600 megabytes, so it should be some kind of like similar on all devices, of course, always depending from which software you're updating. Now, what's really interesting here is the build number 22F5068A. ending with an A, indicating that this is the last beta of iOS 18.5 before Apple releases this to the public. Now, at the beginning of the video, I told you guys that I believe this is one of the best updates that Apple has released for iOS 18. And this is one of the reasons right here. You can see this Geekbench score right here. It's Geekbench 6 on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. It was at 2,890 right there on the single core score, and it was at 7,167 on the multi-core score. Now, this actually was the second beta of iOS 18.5. But take a look at the improvement here with the third beta, and then take a look at the big improvement here with the last fourth beta. And I believe this will actually be improved even more with the release of the RC version and then the public release of iOS 18, because we have around 2 more weeks for that, so they will have plenty of time. So you can see this amazing score, one of the best scores that I actually got here on iOS 18. Multi-core score at 7,400, while the single core score is at 2,969. Again, for the iPhone 15 Pro Max here, a great score. Now, what has surprised me a lot on iOS 18.5 is also the battery life. Now, if we go right here to the battery life, and we can take a look here, the battery health is currently sitting at 91%, even though I actually repeat this on many of my videos. It's probably at around 87 or 86 because it hasn't actually updated like in 4 or 5 months from now. But as you can see, with that battery health here on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, we're getting quite decent battery lives. Like the last one right here, 5 hours 48 minutes with around 60% battery, maybe even 65. And then right here we have about 80% battery, 6 hours 49 minutes. Right here 130% battery, 12 hours 24 minutes. And then right here with about 110% battery, 8 hours 51 minutes. Again, on the battery with this health, with this condition, it's actually quite decent. So of course with this as well, we will have time to improve with the next couple of weeks with the RC and the public release, but it's actually looking really good, as of course it should, being that it's actually 0.5, and it should by this time actually be quite stable and battery life be actually good. But is there anything new with the last beta of iOS 18.5? If you have been following my last few videos on iOS 18.5, you know that we have just a few new changes. So we have the banner here back with the back tab banner, and then we have some changes to the Mail app, a few splash screens here and there. Apple has actually removed the recover all and delete all button from the Photos app, and that's not coming back, and that's about it. We have on like 6 or 7 new features or changes, but there are also a couple of changes that have been noticed here on the 4th beta. Now, Aaron here on X has tweeted about this. So iOS 18.5 beta 4 hints at 2 new wallpapers that are coming soon. Now, usually Apple, what they do is that they will release the new wallpapers with the public release and not with any of the betas. So we're expecting 2 actual new wallpapers coming with iOS 18.5. So besides those features we talked about, there are actually 2 other wallpapers that might have also different modes, of course, with different colors, that are actually coming out, and that most likely will happen with the public release of iOS 18.5. Now there will be actually also a ton of different fixes and improvements with iOS 18.5. Now one of them that I have been actually able to notice is the search on the settings app. I don't know if it's just me or just this device, but it's actually working quite good. Now, as you probably know, if you have tried searching on iOS with the settings app, it's actually quite a mess and most likely you won't actually find what you're looking for. But in my experience, especially with the last beta, it actually has been quite good. Now with iOS 18.5, Apple has also fixed connectivity issues for CarPlay, so if your device didn't actually connect or the sound didn't play, then you will get that fixed once you have updated to the 4th beta of iOS 18.5. But when can you get this update to your device? Well, we have here 2 more updates to go. Most likely next Monday will be the RC version. So right here, the 5th or the 6th is the RC version release. That means that will actually be the last update that Apple will release to the devs before releasing iOS 18.5 to the public. And that will 100% sure that will happen on the 12th of May. That is the date Apple is releasing iOS 18.5. As usual, on a Monday, they will release that update, so the 12th of May should be the date. Now, in the meantime, during that week right here, once they release at the beginning of the week, the RC version, we might have another RC2 release. That is usually having the last few updates, so that might happen as well. So, what to expect next then? Well, we're getting iOS 18.6 that has actually been spotted already, so it's most likely coming on the first beta, even as early as that week of the release of iOS 18.5. So the 14th or 15th might be the dates that Apple releases the first beta of iOS 18.6. Now that also should be kind of similar to iOS 18.5. Don't expect any new big features or changes. The big features and the big changes are coming with iOS 19, and that will actually be June 9th. That will be the date that Apple releases the first beta of iOS 19, which should be the biggest update to iOS in about 10 years since iOS 7. So that's basically it for this video, guys. This is iOS 18.5, and this is basically what we're getting with the public release, even though it's still time for new improvements when it comes to performance and battery, which this update actually already has its grade on performance and battery as well, even though again it lacks a huge number of new features and changes. But at this point of time, Apple is focusing more on iOS 19, so of course we have to have these smaller updates, but that do improve the experience a lot. So that is it. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one.